Okay, we are live, Facebook, YouTube. It's The Huddle from Partners in Leadership, Jared Jones, Russ Hill. This is just where we come on live for about 5-10 minutes and share with you something that we're hearing with the leaders that our firm consults with that they're struggling with in the moment of this massive disruption. Jared, today we want to talk about visibility.
Yeah, visibility is such an interesting thing because when this first started with the shutdown and the lockdown and the shelter in place and all the COVID stuff, everyone was saying we've got to figure out a way to be visible. So the Zoom meetings and the video chats and different ways of reaching out to people. In fact, some retail organizations, you've got senior executives going out and being in front of their teams, Walmart and so forth and Walgreens. So this visibility piece definitely has something to do with being there, showing up, being in person, or creating some interaction. But we started digging into this and realized as we talked to more leaders, it's actually not just about just showing up. That's like table stakes. That's the first step. But there's some other components to this. There's two other components specifically that we thought, wow, that's actually super interesting. So we want to dig into all three of those.
Yeah, so let's just stay on visibility for maybe a minute longer.
Yeah.
Doug McMillon is one of the people you're referencing. If you want to see a great example of visibility, a leader that's working on being visible in a time of disruption like we've been going through for the last 8 weeks now, Doug McMillon is the CEO of Walmart, and on his LinkedIn page, which anybody could access, you can see he's posting almost daily. At the beginning of this COVID-19 pandemic, he was posting every single day pictures of him in one of the various stores of Walmart around the United States, and he was with associates. So why was he doing that? Well, it's for teammates to see, right? His associates to see, wow, our leaders are out there. They're hearing the issues we're dealing with. It's for suppliers and vendors and customers to see, oh, wow, they're responding. And it's safe to be in one of those stores right now. So that's a great example of visibility. And in fact, in one of the live onlines I was on yesterday, Jared, with a client of ours, a manufacturing company, we asked, what does visibility look like? And we heard a lot of what you were just mentioning. It's cameras on in a Zoom meeting. It's more phone calls. It's
text messages.
That's right. Emails. So visibility, the way I view it is I control it. So it's outbound from me. It's emails I'm sending out. It's text messages. It's my camera on in a Zoom meeting. It's communication from me. And the desire for that, part of the motivation for being visible is to help people feel connected. It's to provide clarity around what I need them to focus on and direction. Now let's get to the two other words that have come up over the last 6 to 8 weeks as leaders have worked on being more visible and gone, it's helping, but it's not impacting speed as much as I want it to.
Yeah, the first thing that we started looking at there was accessibility. So have you ever had a leader who was visible but not accessible? And everybody says yes to that question. I haven't said anyone said, no, I've never had that experience. So when you think about accessibility, what does that really mean? Accessibility gets to letting people be heard. Frankly, it's simply just being able to contact somebody, right? And get in touch with them at some level. But it's also more than that. It's them interacting with you in a way that, I was heard by them and they're actually listening and they're paying attention to what I'm bringing up. We had a great example of this. We're working with one of the really large casual dining restaurant chains around the country. 1,200 general managers were together in a conference about 6-8 months ago, before all this obviously started happening. And he had them all in the room and he put his cell phone number up on the screen. This was the leader of this whole group.
The CEO. The CEO of the casual dining chain. Yep.
Right. And he said, if you have any concerns, any questions, text me, call me. I am here for you. And he meant it. In fact, when you talk to those leaders later, they said, you know what? He actually does respond when you send him a text or call him. So when you think about accessibility, that's like the far extreme example, right, of being totally accessible when you're giving out your cell phone to that many leaders in an organization. But he's doing it because he needs them to know he's accessible and he wants to. That's how, in his mind, the best way to lead the organization, which we actually agree with. But when you start talking about adding accessibility to visibility, so not only are you just showing up or being present in the moment, you're now accessible as well as being visible. That's a totally different way to increase speed and movement in your organization.
Yeah. So if you think we're going to go through 3 words in this quick, Facebook and YouTube live today. The first one is visibility. We spent a couple minutes on that. Now we're talking about accessibility. We've got another one coming here in just a second. Jared, the why for me on accessibility is when we need speed. And if we agree that speed is absolutely critically important because we've got to adapt so fast, no matter what industry you're in.
Well, disruption demands speed, right?
Right. You've got to adapt and adjust so fast right now. And so when a leader isn't accessible, to me, accessibility looks like, gosh, I've got a question and I've got to make a decision, or we've got to move on this thing. And so I need a quick answer from you. I need some data from you real quick. I need something from you super quick. And if I send a text to you or an email to you, or I'm reaching out to you and it's crickets, that you aren't accessible. Yeah. And so speed, leaders who are accessible, who are increasing not just visibility, but accessibility right now, they're impacting the speed of their teams and their organization. So
and to that point, Russ, it's one thing to give the cell phone out. It's another to answer it.
100%. Yeah.
Right.
Well, man, do we all know that? You can think about people who are super accessible and people who, I got their number or I've got their email address and it doesn't really do me any good. They must have 3 or 4 phones because they're clearly not responding to this one. Okay, so the next word that we want to talk about, so we got visibility and accessibility. The third word is transparency. And let me give you an example of this real quick of where I saw it come up. And it was yesterday. Yesterday, CEO of a manufacturing company, we're doing what we call a live online, a virtual meeting on Zoom for 1 hour with his leaders. We've been doing them once a week. And it's just 1 hour, 40 members of his team. This is the CEO of the manufacturing company based out in California. And he's talking on there to his leadership team about the importance of transparency. He says, let me tell you why I'm sharing everything with you right now. It's because I want to help you make decisions. I want you to have line of sight to all the data points I'm looking at. And this company, like virtually most, not every company, there are some that are dealing with surge in demand and surge in revenue, but most organizations are dealing with shifts in revenue and big,
and not good shifts in most cases.
Yeah, big gigantic gaps that didn't exist before March. But so he was talking about, and this company is one of those. And so he's saying, I'm giving you all of this information, trying to be super transparent so you can make the right decisions and know where to focus and what to say no to and what to not work on right now. And I thought, wow, that's so valuable. We had coached him to do it. And as he did it, I thought that's so valuable for his team of 40 leaders spread out through multiple countries to hear him explain the why behind the amount of information he's sharing.
Yeah. And when you think about the transparency piece, people just want to know. They don't want to be guessing. In fact, it creates extra stress and anxiety when you think you have to guess or interpret everything that's going on. So there's a relief valve there when you can be transparent, even if it's not always great news. Be authentic, be genuine, be transparent in what's going on. We had another leader who at one point just said, I had to tell people I don't know the answer right now. And it was so relieving to that leader as well as the rest of the team to hear that from a standpoint of, oh, so we need to get involved at a different level here. We need to all figure this out versus sitting back going, well, whenever he tells us what to do, we'll go do it. Like, that's not helping you. So the transparency piece has several ways. It impacts on several levels. So you add visibility, accessibility, transparency, all 3 of those together. Now you're able to create speed and movement in a time of disruption that you actually need. So to me, that's why it's so critical. Also, you guys, if you want a deeper dive on this, at Partners in Leadership, we're doing these live onlines every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Pacific. You can go to partnersinleadership.com and you can register for those if you want, where we dig into these topics even more. We bring people on, let them ask questions, and we respond to those questions. It's only a half an hour. But we also keep the audio of those on our podcast, Leading During Uncertainty. So you can go to the podcast and get some of that. additional content, or you can sign up and register for our live onlines every Tuesday.
Have a great weekend, everybody.